Senator Cruz, great to see you tonight. Now, reports are tonight that Cory Gardner of Colorado, he's up for re-election, now voicing support for the nomination late tonight. Are you confident that you're going to have the votes to win it?
Laura, I am. I think this is exactly why President Trump was elected. He was elected to nominate principled constitutionalists to the Supreme Court. And this is why the American people elected a Republican majority. And they did so repeatedly. They elected a Republican majority in the Senate in 2014. They did so again in 2016. And in 2018, they grew our majority in the Senate. And the voters had front and center the issue of what kind of justices are going to go to the court. And Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton, they embrace radical leftists who want to undermine the Constitution and Bill of Rights. And President Trump promised to nominate justices in the mold of Scalia and Thomas. So every one of our rights, whether it's free speech, we're one vote away from losing our fundamental protections on free speech. Religious liberty, the right to worship according to our faith, according to our conscience, we're one vote away from losing it. And right after right after right, it comes down to the court, and the president is going to make the nomination this week. And I believe we will have the votes in the Senate to confirm this justice, and critically to confirm the justice before Election Day.
Explain
I don't think
that.
we can wait till afterwards.
Senator, explain that. Rob Leiter, who clerked for Justice Thomas and Harmeet, both agree with you. Why, in your view, is it so critical that 4-4 tie not be possible post-election?
Well, Laura, there are a lot of reasons, but I think the most important is we know this is a country that is divided, that there's a lot of anger. Joe Biden has been explicit that if he doesn't win on Election Day, he intends to challenge the legitimacy of this election. He's already hired a top-tier team of lawyers headed by veteran Supreme Court advocates. All of us remember what happened in the 2000 election, Bush versus Gore. I was part of the legal team representing George W. Bush and Bush versus Gore. I think what we saw in Florida and Bush versus Gore with litigation challenging the election, if Joe Biden loses, we're going to see all over the country, not just one state, but multiple states. And if the Democrats succeed in keeping this seat vacant, there would be only 8 justices on the Supreme Court. 8 justices, if they divide 4-4, they cannot make a decision. The court has no authority divided 4-4. And so we all remember the 36 days of uncertainty, of chaos that played out in Bush versus Gore. Without filling this seat, this election could last weeks or months. And with the kind of chaos we're seeing, that constitutional crisis, I think, would be incredibly unhealthy for our country.
Yeah, well, and Senator, I have to get your reaction to this tweet from Newt Gingrich. He said, every person who seeks to intimidate, coerce, threaten, or punish senators and their staffs and families during the Supreme Court nomination process should be arrested and prosecuted, since this is a felony punishable by 5 to 10 years in jail. This should be stated clearly now. Senator, many of us have been very frustrated that more hasn't been done to protect people and places, landmarks. Although President Trump obviously pushed through his executive order, and Barr, I guess, is doing what he can, but now they're going to senators' homes. I mean, you could be vulnerable as well.
Now, look, that is exactly right. We're seeing the violence, we're seeing the riots, we're seeing the chaos, and we're seeing Democratic jurisdictions that are allowing it to just go on, whether it's Portland or New York or Chicago or Seattle. And we're seeing the hard left right now. They're trying to threaten people directly. They've gone to multiple senators' homes on the Senate Judiciary Committee. They're angry, and the threat of violence is in the air. I can tell you the Capitol Police is already very concerned. In the midst of Brett Kavanaugh, you had angry protesters who would confront senators, who try to intimidate senators. And I am very concerned that the next 2 months we'll see things get even worse. But we can't let that intimidate us. We have a job to do, and our job is to honor the promise we made to the voters. I'm telling you right now, Laura, I believe we will have the votes, and we will confirm a principled constitutionalist to the court before Election Day.
And Senator Cruz, I know you're texting friends, buddies with Eric Holder, so you probably already know this, but this is something he said, I guess today, on Saturday, about the current court majority. Watch.
You would have a conservative majority on the court, illegitimate conservative majority on the court, we need to think about court reform. And at a minimum, as part of that reform package, I think additional justices need to be placed on the Supreme Court.
Obviously, the future court majority. So court packing very quickly.
Yeah, look, it's clear the Democrats, if they get the majority, they're going to try to pack the court. But history is abundantly clear that when the president and the Senate are of the same party, the Senate confirms an election year vacancy. That's happened 29 times in our nation's history. 19 of them were when the president and Senate were of the same party. 17 of those were confirmed. Now, on the other hand, when the president and Senate are of different parties, that's happened 10 times. The Senate's only confirmed it twice. That explains the difference between 2016 and 2020. The American people elected President Trump and a Republican majority because we want the Constitution and Bill of Rights protected, and that is our job. It's what we need to do.